everybody. I wanted to show just a quick presentation on a smile rejuvenation we just did using our digital workflow. I think it's kind of cool, and been getting a lot of questions about it, so I figured I would just do a video showing the process. So here we go. The case study is a female patient, mid-40s. We had she'd been seen at the office for a while, but was kind of new to me, and she had a good amount of wear on her teeth, and so we took some extraoral photos and showed the retracted bite, the retracted open, which we'll show in a little bit, and really showed the wear. And she didn't like the coloring of her teeth as well, and so she rated her smile poor, and so we started brainstorming ways to help her out. So we were unsure how to proceed, and so what I like to do are digital wax-ups and mock-ups in the mouth to get an idea of what things are going to look like. And that's especially my favorite way to do things in wear cases, because what we're doing is very additive, so that's pretty nice. So here's the before and afters. You can see here just very worn, chipped incisals, especially ones. That's why I like this open shot here, because that way you can really see. Because right here on this bite, patients don't necessarily see what's going on, but once you do the teeth apart, man, it becomes very apparent on how jagged stuff is. So we started off with the shortened dental arch, the SDA, kind of the 10/10 rule, and we did some scans. My scanner was the 3600, Carestream 3600. I exported the STL to my digital design guy. I use a couple different companies, and sometimes I do it myself, but I'm so busy I just don't really have the time to do it myself, or else I would in either ExoCAD or the new beta of Blue Sky Plan. But this one I farmed out. And but yeah, you can see the wear, the discoloration, all that stuff. Especially into Denton in the mid-40s, that's pretty accelerated. So next, so the designer that I used was ScanCAD 3D. If you don't know Jacob, he heads over there. They do great work for it's very cost effective, and the quality is great, so I can't speak enough about them. They design their stuff in 3Shape, but this kind of shows a little bit of before and afters. I didn't quite get these translated perfectly, but it gives you a good kind of an idea of the before and after. So digital wax up, what's nice about that is it's a lot of cost savings compared to analog way of doing things. And so I can digitally farm out the wax up, they get it back to me, I print it up, I make a temporary splint. Either you can do Siltec or I use Copyplast, but then boom, you have your form for the temporaries, for the what I call the trial smiles. So here's my crappy little iPhone picture, but this digital wax up. I printed their proposal in gray resin, printed on the Moonray S, and I used the 1 millimeter thick Copyplast on the Mini Star. And I didn't get too fancy with the scalloping and everything because it's just for the trial smile, but I'm going to basically fill that in the mouth. I'm going to try it in. The molars have not been prepped, nor have they been designed, because we're doing the shortened dental arch. So that's 10/10. That's a second premolar to second premolar, top and bottom. So the molars actually act as kind of a rest for this, which is handy. But anyways, fill this up with any temporary material you want. I just use a pretty basic temporary. Might be like Shine Brand temporary, I don't know. But anyways, um, fill it up, let it shrink wrap, and then take the copy plast off, and then boom, you have your trial smile in it. This is not showing the trial smile on the right side here. This is a little bit further down the road. So, but what I'll do, I don't actually have any photos of just the trial smile. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and put that in, um, clean it up, and I just let them wear it for a few days so they can see what the bite feels like, all that stuff. You know, make sure they like the looks. Now, I always preface this that with the cheap temporary material that I use, that's going to be darker than what we're eventually going to do. So as long as they know it's going to be on the darker side and that the final ones will be lightened up, they're okay with it. But on this other side here, what we've done is after she'd been in the trial smile for a while and she approved of it, then what we did was I used those forms and I injection molded composite using Genial Universal Flow. I injected molded composite. Because she was a wear case, we were basically able to do additive. Now, you'll notice this little darkness right here. I had a little bit of contamination during the bonding process on that one, and so you'll see it taken care of later. We buffed that out and rebonded and stuff, so that did get taken care of, which you'll see in the afters. But in this photo on the right here, the lowers have been built up in composite, and the uppers are in shrink wrap temporaries, because we actually did uppers, we prepped for Emax, and lowers we did bonded composite. So again, I show a photo of that upper, and again we prepped, scanned, and sent to ScanCAD, and they came back with the scans for the Emaxes, which then I milled on the Ceramil Motion 2. We used Emax HT, high translucency, A1. We bonded that in with the Scotch Bond Universal and the 3M Reliax veneer, and it was the A1 shade of the Reliax veneer as well. And so again, I gotta preface this. I'm not an aesthetics guru, I'm not an occlusion guru, but I do practice in a very small rural town of Kansas, population of 1,300 people, with a median household income of about $30,000. And so I've been working for years trying to figure out ways to make comprehensive dentistry accessible to patients. And this is kind of what we've come up with. And so here's the before and afters. Again, lowers are in composites. I can reshape that premolar a little bit more. Uppers are bonded in Emax, and not too shabby. I mean, she was thrilled. She was absolutely thrilled, you know, crying in the chair, all that, the whole 9 yards. Got the biggest hug from her today, actually, when we did our follow-up refinement. And she had her prophy today. So yeah, there you go. She was already starting to wear into that composite on the lower there, so we did get her into NTIs, and I am encouraging a sleep study. But there we go. And we'll touch those up as we go. But opened her up, as you can tell, opened her up a little bit. That's why I like to do in the trial smiles, and I like to do long-term temporaries sometimes, just to make sure the joints are happy, muscles are happy. It's like that Dawson quote from his textbook, in a war between muscle and bone, muscle always wins, or in war between muscle and teeth, muscle always wins. So uppers. So there we go. Let's talk real quick about the appointment sequencing. So first was records. That's where we got photos, scans, did my TMJ muscle screening, radiographs, went over risk factors, got on like the carry-free system and all that stuff, because whatever we do, we want to keep healthy. Appointment 2 was the trial smile. So we shrink wrap temps upper and lower. You always want to make sure that you're going to have plenty of time to trim the gingiva and all that stuff, make it as cleansable as possible. You can actually floss Teflon tape in between the embrasures so it doesn't get as locked in. And then also, um, if you remove the Teflon when it's in its gel phase, it makes it a lot easier to kind of clean in between the teeth. Not flossable, but it can help keep it clean with like a water pick or something. So let the patient test drive it if it looks good. Um, what we did here is we went ahead and I removed the shrink wrap on the lower, and then we went ahead and did the injection molding of the lowers and composites. And then appointment 4, I refined the lowers and everything, repolished them, got the occlusion into check, and then prepped the uppers. And I prepped them through the trial smile because it built the teeth up to kind of where we were going, ideal. And so then I just make my kind of ideal preps through that trial smile. And so, because in wear cases, if they've already worn their teeth down a couple millimeters, well, you don't need to do further reduction in those cases. So that's why I like to go ahead and build them up to ideal and then prep through the temps and make my preps as ideal as possible. So we took a Savior bite. I got that one, I think is from Lane Ochi. And then I think I reheard it from Corey Glenn. But basically what you do is you take a bite before you start prepping, and then as you prep around, you reline that same bite as you go, so that way you're reproducing your bite registration. So, and then scan those. And so we also did take a scan in the temporaries, and then scanned again after our pre and post-op was in CareStream, the new software. You can do a pre-scan and a post-scan. So we pre-scanned in the wax up, so that way we could get our ideal contours, and then the post prep we rescanned as well. So that also helps keep your VDO and all of that stuff. And then appointment 5 was the liver uppers, where we removed the temps, and then we bonded the porcelain, and we checked with the T-scan. The slight adjustments, not much in this case. It was pretty spot on. And then appointment 6, I guess, would be today, even though I don't have it listed. A week or two later, as the gums heal from being in temps and stuff, I like to just see them back again, make any further refinements. I didn't have to touch the porcelain at all today. And we also rolled it into kind of a hygiene. She was in my chair for a few minutes before she went into hygiene. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see, what else? We'll talk about overhead a little bit. The cool workflow on this, it's not to say that we're going to just bottom out in our prices, because we have to get return on investment for the amount of training that we do to learn how to do this stuff. You got to go through some high quality continuing education, and you have to dedicate to it. You have to be away from your office and your family and all that stuff, so you should see a return on investment. Also, you have the upfront investments in the technologies, the 3D printers, the scanners, the mills, and all of that stuff. So it's not to say that we're just going to bottom out our prices, but what's cool about it is the upfront overhead for these cases goes down considerably. So, the design altogether is about $400 in this case. And we went through multiple designs. I had the pre-op designs, 10/10, the pre-op wax ups. They also did the designs for the porcelains after the preps and stuff like that. So altogether, rounding up, is about $400, which was, like I said, very, very cost effective. And then the printing resin of all the models I printed up was maybe $30. I used 1 tube of genial flow on the lower, So that was $100. Emax, $35 a block, and we did 10 units up top, so that's $350. Miscellaneous, your bond, your cement, your tint materials. I maybe could have included like wear and tear on the burrs on the mill, but I kind of rounded that up to be about 150. So altogether, a ballpark of $1,000 to have your overhead hard costs covered, not including your time or anything like that, but just hard materials cost of $1,000. That's pretty reasonable for a shortened dental arch rehab, a 10/10 rehab. So I don't know. I just think that's pretty cool. And so, what are the benefits of that? Why go through all that? I love scanning and 3D printing because of the trial smile. I love, love, love doing that because for a couple $100, I can get them a trial smile and they get to feel it. They get to see it right in their mouth in like 5 minutes. Boom, upper and lower, done. And the transformation that happens right then is pretty incredible. And I like for him to sit in it for a couple of days, go home, show the family. Like I said, I always talk about the color just because I've been too lazy to get like a B1 or an A1 temporary material. But another thing that's cool about this is you can then stage treatment. As long as you get them built back up into a proper VDO where things are happy, you can stage treatment. You can do things in composite first, then convert over to porcelain. You can hold them in temporaries for longer as long as they're cleansable and stuff like that. You can mix and match materials, like in this case, we did composite on the lower and porcelain on top. She originally wanted to do porcelain upper and lower, but it couldn't quite swing it. So I said, that's okay. Let's do composites on the lower first, and that worked with her in her budget. Only having $1,000, that's less of a nugget that they have to crack up front as far as putting a down deposit. You can have flexibility in financing and greatly make this more affordable and more accessible to a greater part of the population. So that's what it's about. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I know I'm not going to be in the AACD magazine or anything with this, but for me, it's just about I wanted to find solutions to offer comprehensive care in a manner that worked within my demographic. So hope this helps. Hope you got some value of it. And any other things that you want to learn about or for me to go over, just let me know. Feel free to ask any questions. But until next time, take care, guys. Bye.